Hi creative friends, this is Soraya and thank you so much for being here. So I added one more layer over top of this from where my last video ended. I'm really sorry I didn't record it, but it was at night that I was working, and I don't record at night because I have to turn my art lights on and it washes everything away, and I really didn't mean to work on it. I just added some tea bags and then I just kind of started working on it. So I'm really sorry I didn't record it. So there is a little bit of a gap between where I left off in my last video and this one over here, but it's still the same spread. Like you can see her lips over here, her eye over here is transparent, this one completely covered up, but this is where the figure of the lady was, the portrait that I did. And I think the main thing I want to convey when I made this video is that when you are working over top of an image, unless you're going to use gesso and cover the whole thing up 100%, or you could do it with collage for instance, but unless you cover everything up 100%, you are going to be influenced by whatever image is on the page. Like even if you're going to cover up most of it or all of it, it's still going to affect the colors you use, the lines you use, etc. But anyways, I am going to try to see where I can lay my figure, and I think I'm just gonna even like turn it upside down because I don't want to be influenced by the face. Like this is where the lady was. So, you know, even though it's covered up, I don't want to like go over top of it and like just, you know, work over the exact same image. So I think I'm going for kind of a like an abstracted kind of a feel, maybe. I don't know here. And it is kind of a bit difficult, like say when there's like these circles here, because I'm like thinking like, oh, should I convert this into another figure or a sun? And what I find is, well, the way I work anyways, and I think most of us are like this, when we see something, we're like, I'm trying to make sense of it. My mind is trying to make sense of it. So I see a circle and I'm like, oh, I can turn that into a head, or I can turn that into a sun. And so I do kind of get influenced like in that way, but I don't want to place my figures based on that. I want to be like kind of free to put them how I want to. And I like that kind of those 3 dots over there, that kind of suggests like a neckline. And that's like my mind trying to make sense of shapes. And okay, so I kind of like that. I'm kind of liking this situation here. I think. I'm wondering if her head is like too big for her body here. It's not proportionate, but it's okay. And I think what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna go with like another figure over here. And this might be like a 3-figure kind of a situation. Or maybe like 2 figures. I think I'm gonna, you know what? I think I might go with 2 figures. And because it's kind of like a kind of a dreamy kind of a feel, I'm not going for like a realistic kind of a feel. I think I'm gonna like spread her body like to encompass more of the page. And so I'm gonna use dictionary pages, and I think I'm gonna cover up some of the face here. I don't want to, honestly. And I don't know. I'm going to hold off on that. I've been working in Connie Solera's Painting the Feminine, and I'm being very highly influenced by her work in a good way, where I'm not trying to emulate her, but I'm trying to figure out how to keep some of the busyness in the figure and also keep some of the busyness outside, like in the background, because she does that so seamlessly. I don't know if that just kind of happens or if she plans it out. Like, I really have no idea. But I'm trying to kind of see if I can do the same thing. My instinct is always to like make, say, the face solid, and then if the background's really busy, or vice versa. But I don't know here. And so I'm gonna kind of like spread that out. Over there. And yeah, this is getting a little bit kind of confusing for me. Maybe as I continue working in the book, I'll get better at kind of navigating that. But like right now, you guys, my brain is all scrambled up for real. I can't even distinguish the figure from the background. So it's like scrambling up my brain, and I want to make sense of it. Like I want to kind of differentiate the figure from the background. Like, it's too confusing for me. I don't know if you guys face the same issue or if it's just me. But yeah, okay, so I don't know if I can do that. I might like keep the busyness of the neck maybe and the dress, but yeah, I think I need to kind of subdue the face here just so I can think. Otherwise I'm gonna get too confused. And I think I want to make some of the background, I think I want to like make it blue, I think. So you guys, the initial statement that I made where I said, oh, I want to keep the busyness of the background with the busyness of the, you know, the figures, that just went right out the window. And that's okay. It's okay to change your mind at any point that you're painting. It's totally okay. Like, unless you're doing a, like say a specific exercise where, you know, like say I'm making all these collages to learn something and I set an intention and I try to stick with that. But when you're painting, like painting, then you can change your mind at any point. You can say, you know what, this is not working for me, so I'm just gonna change my mind. So I am going to cover all of this up here. Ooh, I love this blue, you guys, so beautiful. And I don't know if I'm gonna make another video on this spread to bring it to completion. If you guys want me to, I will. The reason why I made this video is just to kind of illustrate how when there is an image on the page and you work over top of it, in any capacity, whether it's to make a background, whether it's an abstract, whatever, whatever's on the page is going to influence what you put on the page. So if there's any interest in me bringing this to completion, then I will make another video. But I'm really loving this blue. I'm surprised by it. It's really beautiful. And so I think I'm going to kind of keep these little parts, because once I cover something up, I can't get it back. But you know, if I want to cover it up later, I can always go in and do that. So I'm really loving the juxtaposition of all these warms and hot colors in the figure with this just luscious blue here. I'm really loving it. And gonna add some more inks here. The great thing about mixed media, you guys, is like you can just add as many layers as you want. You know, if you don't like something, oh, I'm just gonna add more layers. You know, if you change your mind, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna add more layers. Like, I just love that about mixed media. It's so forgiving, and you can use all the layers to your advantage. So nothing is ever lost. It's still there, and it dictates, even if you cover it up, like it still is gonna dictate, you know, the subsequent layers. So I just love that. And I'm just gonna start building up the skin tones here, even though, you know, I was gonna make it an abstract, but well, I am really loving the way this is turning out, you guys. I'm surprised, actually. And yeah. So I hope I can explain this in the correct way, but I'm going to talk about something that happened when I was in Oaxaca. So basically on our last day there, I think we were there for like 7 or 8 days. And on our last day, there was our last painting day. I went into my easel, and so what I did is we had these big sheets of paper. They were really quite large, actually, like 24 by 30, I want to say. And what I did is I pinned up 2 sheets of paper like so. So I put 1 sheet of paper here, I pinned it up on the easel, and then I pinned up another sheet of paper, and I think I turned the top one like lengthwise. And what I did is I immediately went onto this sheet of paper and I drew breasts, you know, just like shoulders and breasts. And then I probably spent about a half an hour doing that. And then I just segued into the face. And I painted a face that was very, very different than anything I had done thus far. And later on, when I left the retreat and I was like, you know, journaling about it and figuring out all the things I had learned and whatever, what I realized is that the breasts that I painted was inconsequential. They were just a pathway to get me from the way I had been painting faces to the way I painted this particular face. And I don't know like how I knew that. Like, I don't know if it was a subconscious thing. I don't know if it was because I was just in the flow and I was listening to everything Connie said, and I just felt like, oh, I just immediately in the morning, I just came in there, I pinned up this piece of paper like so, and then I put a second piece of paper like this, and I tacked that on top of it. And how it relates to this is that even though the face that was initially on here is completely covered up, that face was the passageway, the bridge to get me into this specific spread. I hope I'm explaining this correctly. So if you have any questions and I've completely muddled it up, please let me know and I'll try to explain it in a different way. So a lot of times when we're in the flow, like, don't question everything. Like, once you get in touch with your gut and your intuition, don't like question every single thing you do, especially when you're in the flow, because sometimes when you put something down, it's not about you keeping that thing that you put down on the page, but it's about that image being a pathway to get you to where the page wants to go, is going to eventually get to. I hope I've explained myself properly. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to let this completely dry. If you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.